right, so what we got for you here today is some of the new demo content we're showing off for Guild Wars 2. First off, we're showing the Engineer profession, which is our most recently announced profession here. You'll see this is an engineer with a rifle. So they have a lot of fun skills available to them here. The skill that engineer just used there, skill 4, blows the target that they shoot back and sends the engineer flying back. That one right there, skill 5, is a giant jump shot where you blast your gun in the ground, fly through the air, and then you blast the guy on the ground where you land. Skill 3 is a little bit of a scatter shot, where it's like a blunderbuss shot that hits everybody nearby you. And the engineer is really based on a lot of inventions and taking advantage of different unique created abilities. So for example, the engineer's healing skill, skill 6, not only heals the engineer, but it randomly applies one of the different buffs in the game. So you can react to it and basically act differently based on the buffs that you get. Skill 2 there on the engineer that you're seeing is a net shot. So when you shoot somebody with that, it actually it immobilizes them and holds them into place. We'll show the net shot here. So you can use that in combo together to keep guys off of you while you're blasting them. And then you have some of the utility skills available to you here as an engineer. So skill 7 is a elixir. And this one provides you with one of a number of random buffs as well. So you have a little bit of a random element a bit with some of these skills that the engineer has. Skill 8 is slick shoes. So this is going to apply a little bit of an oil slick to the ground. And things that move through it actually trip and fall down. And skill 9 is your adrenaline shot, and these are some of the utility skills available from you. This removes any conditions your character has and applies the regeneration buff to them. These are just some of the fun things that you're going to get with the engineer in our game, where you just get a lot of different fun utility skills that play off of kind of the invention side of the engineer. So next we're going to show you something else that's new to our demo today, and this is underwater combat in Guild Wars 2. So you notice as our character goes down into the water, their skill bar has actually changed out, and they've swapped weapons to a completely different skill set that comes available. And we've got a new set of underwater skills that take advantage of the Z-axis the character has available to them. So for example, you can throw out mines here that explode. You do a little harpoon gun, and you've got a torpedo that you can fire out of it there on your first skill. Skill 5 is a net that your character can put up to trap things that come through there, to get the creatures that are coming up or down below you. And the basic idea behind this is that we wanted to take combat that you normally find on ground in a traditional MMO that is usually, it involves a little bit of jumping, but it's mostly handled on the 2D access level. And we wanted to take advantage of the fact that we have this 3D game space available to you underwater. And to build a bunch of skills and movement and abilities that really play to use that. In a traditional MMO, when you're underwater, what you end up finding typically is that there's not a lot there to experience. Your underwater experiences, you go down, you have a breath meter, there's not a lot of content down there, and underwater is just kind of like an additional thing thrown into the game. And for us, we wanted this to be one of the key features of Guild Wars 2. So every single profession has new skills that come available to them when they're underwater that they can take advantage of that really use this whole 3D axis. There is a ton of content that we placed in our underwater areas. So for example, ahead of you here, there is a shrine to the god Malagan, which these little whale people down here called the Quaggan worship. And sometimes pirates will come and attack this shrine and try to kill all the Quaggan that are there. And this is a dynamic event that you can experience just like in the normal game world, but these also happen underwater. And in this one, you're going to have pirates that come down and attack and drive the Quaggan away. And if you protect them, you can get blessings from the little shrine to their god. So a big part of underwater is just having that sense of exploration and discovery. So as you're swimming around underwater in our game, there are a ton of little hidden areas that you can find and little caves and creatures hiding in them. And you can actually find and kick off dynamic events inside of these different areas when you get into them as well. So we want to just have a whole lot of different content that you can find as you're exploring through and going through the game world. So one one other interesting thing about combat underwater is above ground, if you tap the movement skills one direction rapidly, you're going to dodge out of the way of stuff. Now underwater you can do the same thing, but you rapidly swim out of the way to dodge out of the way of attacks. So for example, you can see our character here is rapidly dodging to avoid the fish, and then has got it caught in the net, and has been blasting away at it from a distance here. So we can head back up on land here, and we'll show you off a little bit more about the different weapons that the Engineer has available to it, and some of the different things that sets the Engineer apart from some of the other professions. We just have to escape from this giant fish here. So one of the things that makes the Engineer unique is some of their utility skills they can equip are kits that change out the initial skills on their skill bar. So for example, we can get out we'll get out a bomb satchel, and when you equip the bomb satchel, you'll notice that the first 5 skills on your skill bar have changed now. And the character is holding a bomb satchel, and you can throw fire bombs and concussion bombs, and this is basically a whole new format of skills that comes available to this player. And they have a whole bunch of different kits like this that they can use. So the bombs are more about positioning, and they're very up-close attacks that you use next to you. There are other kits that come available as well that are used for different locations and different situations. And as you can see here, our character is showing that you can actually hot swap out of these kits in combat and jump back over to your rifle, and now suddenly you're right back into using your rifle skills again to change up the way that you're fighting. So we're going to show you a couple more kits here. As soon as we're out of combat, we'll show a couple more kits. Oh, we've bled to death. This is one of the unique mechanics about Guild Wars 2. When your character dies, you get a last chance to kill other creatures nearby and to bring yourself back to life. So this is, our char here has nothing nearby that they can kill, so unfortunately they're not going to have the ability to do that. So they're going to go to a nearby waypoint and rally. But when you're in that down state, if you manage to kill any creatures, you actually pop back to life and you get a second chance to keep fighting. Also at this point, other characters can come up to you and they can kneel down and res you. And all the characters in the game are capable of resurrecting one another. The idea behind this is so that we build a little bit of a sense of community within our players, where everybody is capable of resing and saving one another if they get into trouble. So other players being nearby is actually a benefit to you. Whereas in a traditional MMO, you don't necessarily want to have other players nearby because they're actually kill stealing from you and stealing your loot and making it harder for you to do your quests. So not only can other characters resurrect one another, but also if one character attacks a creature and somebody comes up and helps them kill that creature, everybody gets loot for it, everybody gets experience for it. So when you're playing with other characters, it's actually a beneficial experience instead of an experience that, you know, you see another character like, oh god, this guy's going to ruin my quest and kill all the stuff that I need. So getting back to the Engineer here, we talked about kits. This next kit that the Engineer has switched over to is the Flamethrower kit. This one's one of my personal favorites. You get a lot of skills where you can unleash a gout of flames in front of you. You can put down a wall of fire that burns everything that gets within it. Oh, and we're back in our down mode here. So we can show this one off. If the Engineer is capable of killing somebody in this time, they're going to rally here. So we'll see if they can pull it off. So they're setting mines, they're throwing grenades, they're trying, oh, and they got out of it. They saved themselves. So they're back up again. And they've swapped back over to their flamethrower, and they're going to town with that flamethrower on this guy. They got their flame wall. And you can unleash a little ball of magma that goes to the guy in a concentrated flame shot. And we've taken that one out. All right, so we'll show you one more kit here. We'll show you the turret kit, which is another one of the great things that the Engineer has available to it. In this case, it's going to equip the rifle turret. So you want to get rid of it. There it is. So we've got our rifle turret. And the rifle turret is going to shoot anybody that's nearby. And you have the ability with skill 8, now that you've placed your rifle turret down, that you can actually explode the rifle turret and do AoE damage to everybody who's nearby. So your turret has multi-functions. So that's some of the basics of the Engineer profession in Guild Wars 2. We've shown you a little about underwater combat and talked a little bit about how our combat system tries to build a sense of community from players being able to play together, not having other players ruin the experience for them, and really trying to build a sense of community within them. Thank you very much for watching this. Guild Wars 2 is set for release on the PC, and we'll be having a beta sometime in the future. The release date at this point is unannounced.